Yo, what is up everyone? So today I'm going to show you how I made this super simple website using Gatsby. And if you're not familiar with Gatsby, it's essentially a React-based framework where you can build websites and apps. And they have a bunch of cool plugins that make your life so much easier in terms of building a website versus just doing it regularly with React. So essentially, Gatsby, you pretty much code everything with React. It's the same thing, except there's a bunch of additional things that Gatsby has that makes your life so much easier. So let me just go through the site design really quick. So that's a typical main section up here. And then also I have the Navbar on scroll to change background. And then here's the main thing. So I'm gonna mainly focus on Gatsby image in this video because this one utilizes GraphQL and we're getting data. And if you've never used Gatsby, then you'll see it in a second. But pretty much all these images, they're not just like regular image tags. They're pretty much, if I were to like right click and inspect this, you can see here there's a bunch of different properties on here. So essentially Gatsby image makes it optimized. So depending on the screen and which size screen you're viewing on, it'll resize and optimize everything for you instead of you having to do that manually yourself, utilizing Gatsby's awesome plugins. And then we have the little footer here. And then basically I have the also the routes too. So typical React, you got like React router linking everything. With Gatsby, it's way easier to link to different pages. You literally just create the page as a file and then boom, you can just link to it. And then here, just showing another example there. And then let me shrink this. It also is responsive too. And we have the little hamburger menu action. And then I got this animation. We scroll down. This time it's dropping down and just typical menu like this. And then again, you can like rotate to the different pages as well. And you can see here that they go like this. So this is a super simple design, but definitely it's a little different from typical React. So without further ado, let me show you how I created this website. So I'm gonna hop into VS Code and let's get started. All right, so here I am on my terminal. So Gatsby, in order to create a website, they have actually a bunch of starter templates. And it's very similar to Create React App, except this time I actually have the GitHub. They have this one starter. And usually you can just copy this one, but for my sake, I'm just literally gonna say Gatsby and then new. And then here I can just call this, let's just say Gatsby travel website, and I'll just put v1 for version 1. And I'm just gonna go ahead and press enter, and then this should be able to create the new site. And we're using this starter because it has a bunch of files and already downloaded plugins that we are going to need. So instead of us having to do it manually, this just saves us a lot more time, and it's a way easier way to get started. So once this finishes up, I'll see you once it's completed. All right, so my thing is done. So I'm gonna go ahead and cd into the file. So whatever you named it, it'll say. So I'm gonna say Gatsby travel website v1. And I'm going to actually open up, I have VS Code, so let me just go ahead and say code dot space dot. If you don't have that implemented, simply a quick Google search will show you how to do it on VS Code. And then when I press enter, this automatically opens it up for me. And let me just go over here and let me just show you what we got going on. So pretty much we have the node modules, then the SRC, and it already has components created for us. It has images folder here, and then also the pages folder here. And then also we have get ignore, prettier, and then we're gonna mess around with some of these files here. But for right now, since this is a very simple website, we're not gonna go too crazy into here. But eventually, if you start using like CMSs and a lot more data-based design where you have to actually get data like a blog or whatnot, it can get way crazier. But I wanted to start off with a very simple website design just so you can get a little taste of Gatsby. So right now, if I go and just let's do Command J, or the command backtick, I believe too, will open up your terminal. If not, you can go up to the top of your screen on the choices and click terminal 2. But here, all we need to do to start it up is just say Gatsby develop. And then I'm gonna press enter, and this should bring up the page. And I already have the site running, so mine, I'm just gonna say yes here. And let's see if it loads up. All right, so mine has 8001 because I have another Gatsby file. But once if I were to click off of it and redo it, it'll probably say 8000. So you're just most likely gonna say localhost 8000. And notice we have this link right here, and then we have a GraphQL link. So right now we're not gonna mess with the GraphQL because we're not messing with the images yet. But for the first one, we're just gonna go ahead and on your keyboard press Command and then click it, and this should open up the website. All right, so here we got the starter default design right here. So already you can see like the routes already working, and pretty much you can see that we have the pages here. So that's pretty cool to see. And now all we need to do is simply go in here, edit the code, and I'll show you how I did that. So let me drag this over here. All right, so let me Command B this, or not Command B, let me Command J, get rid of the terminal. And then let's go to, and let me see if I'm zoomed. Oh yeah, that's a little easier to see it. All right, so now what I want to do is go to the actual, see on the call, let's start off with the pages. That's probably the easiest. So go to pages, and we already have 404, so let's keep that. And that's essentially the error page in case nothing's loaded if you put like a wrong URL. Index.js, we're pretty much good with here, but we can let's just make sure everything is working. So let's just erase this bottom stuff here, and let's just save that. It should actually, yeah, so that deletes everything there. And then page 2, so instead of here, let's just put here, let me see, I'll do let's just call this images page. Let's just do h1 images. Second page, we can change this, so you can highlight that and then do Command D so it highlights both of them, and we can just say images here. And then let's go ahead and let me make sure if you don't have it imported to delete it, so we don't have a link here. And let's just save. And now what I do is rename this page to images. So let's just do images.js. And now pretty much let's refresh here, nothing's there. But if I go to the /URL and do /images, press enter, you can see that we actually have that showing here. So that's good to see that that's working there. And I created a destinations page, so might as well do that too. And I only did that just for example purposes, but obviously you would have to fill this out with the actual content if you're to actually make this. So let's just do destinations.js here. And let's just go to the images. Let's just Command A, Command C, and let's just copy the same thing, except let's just change this to destinations. And then we can just change this to destinations. So Command D highlights both of them, destinations. I'll save that here. And then we can just change the URL. Let's make sure this one's working, destinations. And it works. So you can see here already that in normal React, you got to pass in like router, all that crazy stuff. Here, I literally just created a file, and boom, I just type it in the URL, and it's already there. So that's pretty awesome with Gatsby already. And in terms of the pages, we're pretty much good here for creation right now. So what I'm going to do is actually, let me go ahead and let's go up to our components now. So let's see, right now, let's keep SEO, layout CSS, image, but header, let's change this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's just delete this one. I don't need this. Move to trash. And then what I want to do is create the navbar. So in components, right click new folder, and let's just call this one navbar. And then inside the navbar, we're gonna have a new file. We're gonna call this index.js. And I'm using stock components for the majority of the design, but if you wanted to, you can use CSS. It's up to preference for you. But if you never use stock components, I used it in my previous React tutorial, but it's basically just CSS and like Sass, but you just don't use classes. So the CSS Sass part, that part isn't really the main focus of this, more of the Gatsby image section, but either way, just letting you know. So go back to navbar, right click, make a new file. I'm gonna name this one navbar elements.js since I'm using stock components. If you're doing CSS, obviously you just do CSS. And in the index.js, let's just go ahead and let's start importing some stuff. So real quick, if you don't have these extensions, let's go to extension here and let's do, let's type in ES7. Click here. Make sure you have this in downloaded because it makes your life way easier. This one right here, so you can do the React shortcuts. And let me go back to navbar elements. Actually go back to index.js and navbar. And what I want to do is just type in IMR, press tab, and then automatically writes it out for me, React, importing it without having to type it manually. Next, I want to actually, let's import, we're going to import some icons. So let's do imports FA bars, comma, then FA times. And these are React icons from Coyotes, React icons, /FA, and I'm gonna command B so that I move the sidebar over so you can see more room. And then let's go ahead and also we're gonna import icon context. And essentially what this does is it wraps the entire component that we have this implemented in. And essentially we can pass in styles from basically the top down to where every icon in the wrapping of icon context will pass that down. So if you want to change all the colors to red, then all of them will turn red based off that. So let's do React icon /lib. And then we're gonna do the navbar elements soon, but let's just go ahead and start creating this. So I'm gonna say it's actually exports default navbar, and then under here let's just do const navbar equals to here. Now if you've seen my previous website videos, then it's fairly similar design. The main thing is the main section is the one that's way different. But in case it's your first time, I'm gonna just go ahead and one thing we do need to import too, I forgot, is state or hooks. So go back up to the top and then comma the React curly brace, and let's do use state. And then we're gonna use effect as well. So let's just do that here too. Use effect. And now let's go ahead and first thing I want to do is start actually writing out the code. So let's go ahead and just do return parentheses. Then I'm gonna use the fragments, so I don't want the div to actually pop up. And then here we're simply, let me pass in the icon context first, so that way we have that there. So I can just say icon context dot provider, and then I'm gonna set the value equal to curly brace, and then color. I just want all of the icons to be, so you have to put a quotes, and then hashtag 141414, and then I'll close it out here. Actually go outside that curly brace, close it out here. And now we can write everything in the actual nav inside of here. So let's go ahead and just do nav. And then I'm gonna create these functions eventually, but basically I'm gonna say it right here and then we'll fill it out later. But I'm gonna say the active class, and I'm set it equal to scroll. So essentially when you saw in the previous design, whenever I scrolled down, it updated the background. This right here was gonna happen. And then also on the click, when you set it equal to a click as well. And this essentially, whenever I click on the nav, it will trigger and change the background as well, which we'll utilize in the stock components in just a second. But since we have this import, I want to just add it now. And then above this, let's just go ahead and add our state. So I'm just gonna say const and then the array, so brackets, I'm gonna say click, and then you always say set whatever you name, so set click for the function update the value. I'm gonna set that equal to use state, and the initial value is gonna be false. And then let's go ahead and let me just do command, actually let's do alt shift down arrow. It copies the line down, and then I can just change click here to scroll, and then we can say set scroll. And now let's go ahead and right now we have scroll set. Under here, let's write our function. So the first one I want to do is the change nav function. So essentially, I'm just gonna say const, and then I'm just naming this change nav. You can name whatever you want to. I'm gonna set that equal to an arrow function. And right here, on the previous design, it was 80 pixels the size of the navbar. So what I want to do is, whenever it hits 80 pixels or more, I want it to actually trigger. So I'm gonna say if window.scroll of y is greater than or equal to 80 pixels, so just say 80, then I want to set the value of scroll to true. Okay, so that's essentially whenever I scroll past 80 pixels, it's gonna trigger. Else curly braces set scroll to false. And then eventually we're gonna have to put this somewhere in our actual code. But in order to actually run this, you have to call this. So I'm gonna say use effect underneath this. So use effects, and I only want this to render right here. So let's go arrow function inside of this, and then make sure we pass in our array or brackets here. And then we can simply just call the change nav function here. And if you're like super confused right now, don't worry, because once we start adding the actual styles, then you'll be able to all see it visually. But this is literally all the code here, and then you'll pretty much be set. And I just put a window.add event listener, And let's just put scroll and then comma change nav. And if you have a cleaner way or better way to write this to do the same effect, feel free to refactor the code or let me know in the comments below. Well, this is just one way I did it. And now pretty much we can start adding this. So what I'm gonna do is I'll add like a couple style components and then I'll go to the styles and edit it just so that we can go and make this quicker. But let me just do the next one. I'm gonna call this one Navbar container. So in normal CSS, this would just be like a div, and then your class name would be like let's say it's like Navbar underscore container. Like it would be like the same concept, but since we're doing style components, that's how I'm doing it like this. And then let's just do the nav logo. So let's go ahead and let me do nav logo 2 equals quotes and the slash. And this one actually has a function, but we'll add that later. And let me just close it out here. And then inside here, I'm gonna have the nav icon. So let me actually, I can't even spell right. I have icon. And then this one, just call it explore. So right under it, outside of the tag, explore, and then pretty much like this. So one thing is, looks like the second, I have another nav that shouldn't be there. Yeah, so the icon context bar should be the latest, or the outside. This one should actually be a, yeah, I don't know, mine was being weird, but yeah, make sure your code looks like mine right here. And then let me go ahead and let me check everything's here. Let me just save. Well, actually, that we can import, because I have a setting to where these things delete if I don't have them actually in my code. So when I save it, that line's gonna go away, but I'm gonna go back and re-add it. But pretty much here, now this is what we got. And now let's go and let's actually go to the Navbar elements now. So click on Navbar elements and just remember we have nav, Navbar container, nav logo, and nav icon. So what we're gonna do is nav elements here. And pretty much it's pretty standard, but we need to do is we need to do import styled from styled components. And then with Gatsby, we actually have to install this. So let me bring that up really quick. So I brought up Gatsby, and on here it shows you how you can install style components. But I mean, it's pretty, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. But you can see here, they have this line right there. So what I want to do is actually, let me go here. You can copy this, but I'm using Yarn. If you don't have Yarn, then you can use Run when you like. But you have to actually close and stop your site from running. So do Control-C, and then I'll show you that you're out of it. And then you can go into and copy this line here. But what I'm just going to do is going to say Yarn add. Then I'm going to say Gatsby dash plugin dash styled components, and then I'm gonna do a space, and then let me just do style dash components, and let me press enter, and I put yard instead of yarn. So let me make sure, let me go back and refix that. So here, give me a second. So yarn, and that should work here. So they use npm for most of their stuff. But let me see what happened here. Gatsby plugin. Did I mistype something? Gatsby plugin. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the dash. That's another error. So it should be yarn add Gatsby dash plugin dash style dash components. So let me put the dash here. And now that should work now. So you could, if you just have npm, you could literally just go here and copy this. And then you can see here, they also have Babel too, but I didn't have to use it for mine, it worked still. So, and then now we can actually, you can go here and add this to our exports. So simply you can just copy this here. And then we can go to, let's see, where's it at? Config. And then after this one, we can just press enter under the plugins and just paste it, and then add another comma. And then we have Gatsby style components here. And then let's go ahead and let's start editing. So the first one was the actual nav. So let's do export const nav. Let's set it equal to style dot, and I want it to be the nav tag. And then do 2 backticks and then press enter. And now let's do background. So let me come in to make it actually bigger. And let me close out the terminal for now. So let's do background. Okay, so it wouldn't be caps. Do background. And the reason I use the active, so if I go back to the thing right here, we see you have this little active trigger with a scroll. This is essentially, if you never use stock components, you can pass in props. So it's equivalent of like putting an active class name. But pretty much what you do is you do $, curly brace, parenthesis, curly brace, and then name this whatever you want. So I'm just going to say active. And then outside the first curly brace in the parenthesis, but still inside the last curly brace, we're going to do arrow function, arrow right there. And then we're going to say active. So pretty much we're going to say active. And then we're going to use a ternary operator. So if active is true, so use question mark here, I want the color of the nav to be the background with the hex code of white. So just hashtag FFF. And then colon else, I want it to be a linear gradient. So this one's going to be pretty crazy, but basically a linear dash gradients. And let me see if I can get rid of this little. So then parentheses here. And let me see if I can make this bigger because it's going to be hard if you're following. So let's do parentheses there. Now inside the parentheses, I'm going to say to bottom, comma, RGBA parentheses 255, comma 255, comma 255, comma 0.9. And then outside that parentheses, but still inside of the last one. So we still have the parentheses, quotes, and then the curly braces. Then we're going to say 0%. And then after the 0%, we're going to say comma. And then it's simply going to just be RGBA parentheses 255, comma 255, comma 255, comma 0. And then outside that one, we're going to say 100%. And essentially this showcase like a little fade thing we had going on. And then after that, you can just hit semicolon and then press enter. And then we're pretty much good with that. And the rest are just typical styles here. So let me just drag this back again. And now let's start editing this. So we got the height. I want the navbar to be 80 pixels tall. Display, let's do flex. Justify content, colon to be center. Align items, I want that to be centered. Font size 1 rem. And then let's do position sticky. And then let's do top. I want it to be at 0 with a z index of something ridiculous like 999, so that's always above. And then I'll press enter here. And if you never use stock components for like media queries or hovers, it's essentially like Sass, but basically you can just do it within it. So you can just say add media screen, and then parentheses max width 900. I'm gonna do 960 pixels for my breakpoint, and then curly brace. And for the background, this is for a click, because the thing is, when you, the way I designed it, again, you can refactor the code, but the navbar is transparent on mobile, so my drop down, like, you won't be able to see it. So I'm gonna have to do it again on the click. So I'm gonna do $, curly brace, parenthesis, curly brace, and then I'm gonna say click. So whenever I click on the actual like mobile menu, the icon, you'll see it. And then I'm gonna say arrow, and then simply just put these parentheses and say click. If it's true, I want to display hashtag FFF white. So this should be in quotes. Else, so colon, I'm just gonna say quotes transparent. And then we go out of that, semicolon, press enter. And then let's just do transition. Let's do 0.8s all ease. And now we have the actual nav styled. So now we need to actually finish the nav container, logo, and icon, and then we can check out what we've made so far. So let's go ahead and do export. And then let's do const navbar container, set that equal to style.div, quote backtick, and then we're gonna say display flex, justify content colon space between. Let's do the height of 80 pixels, z index, let me just put it at 1, width is 100%, should be a semicolon, and then max width is 1000 pixels. And then under here, let's do the nav logo. So export const nav logo equals styled, and this is going to be a link. So in React, normally React Router, you have the actual like link to tags. So you can't actually, it's not like a style like a div or a or h1. So instead you have to do style parentheses link, the actual tag name, and then do the backticks here. And then we can say color, let's do hashtag 141414, justify, let's do self : flex start, let's do cursor pointer, text decoration none because it's a tag, so decoration to be none, and let's do font size 1.5 rem, display is flex, and line items is center. And I think we have one more, let me check, nav icon. So yeah, this one's pretty basic. This one's just the icons. Let's just do export const nav icon equals to styled, and this one's gonna call DI SCALA. So that's the name of the icon using React icons. So backticks here, and let me go up, and I'm just gonna say margin 0, 0.5 rem, 0, and then 2 rem. So if I save this now, we're gonna have a bunch of errors. So let me just check what we have, and also we need to actually fix this. So let me actually go and do Command J, and let's do yarn add react dash icons. So we need to install this. So npm install react dash icons if you have npm, and then what we can do is go up here. Then I'm gonna say import curly brace the name of the icon DI SCALA from react dash icon slash DI. Let's save that here, and now let's do Command B. Now go back to the index. Actually, hold on. Let's go to index.js for the navbar, and let's actually re-add my. You should have yours if you don't have the extension, but let me re-add this line up here because I left it out. So pretty much you need to add import FA bars and FA times from react-icons.fa like we did earlier, but mine auto saves and removed it. And then what we need to actually do is add those to the, let's see where I have my, it should be on the mobile menu. So what I want to do is actually go down here. Let me just add these now. So underneath this nav logo, let's do another style component, and let's just call this one mobile icon. And then let me add this, then we can actually check the site. But let me add this one first. So on click equals to handle click brace here, and then inside we're gonna have essentially a click function. So click, and if I click on the icon, then I want to return the FA times, and also I'm going to return the FA bars. Alright, so now we should be set with this section here. Let me go back to navbar elements, and let's see if I actually have any styling on the mobile icon. So it's nothing crazy, and this is the last one, and then we'll go check out the site. So now we're gonna say export const mobile icon is equal to style.div backticks, and then let's just do display to be none, and then at media screen and max dash width : 960 pixels, curly brace, and we're just gonna say display should be display : block, position absolute, let's do top to be 0, right to be 0, transform translate minus 100, that should be in here, minus 100%, comma 60%, and then font size will just be 1.8 rem, cursor should be pointer. Alright, so we're done with the styling right now, and now let's actually check out this site. So if I go Command B, the issue is in the layout.js. Let me see, it has a header. So instead of the header, so let me go here, and let's go to layout.js and let's delete this. Let's delete this header tag here. And then let's replace this with the navbar. So let's do navbar. And then a cool little trick, we can do control space and then press enter. And it should import auto, which it did here. If it didn't, go and import navbar from .navbar. And then also delete the header line here. So when I save mine, I'll delete automatically. And then this is just like Gatsby stuff. You can delete that comment up there. And right now what's gonna say is that we haven't actually imported, let's see, it's in layout, so it should be, yeah, okay. So right now we actually have to, let me see if, here, let's do Command J. And it's not gonna run right now, so let's just do Gatsby develop just to see if any new errors pop up. But the reason it's not gonna run is because we haven't actually imported the, just put yes. We haven't actually imported the stock components into the main file. So let me see if that one comes up, because right now I deleted the header, so I don't want to see this error or why it's still here. Alright, so here's showing us a lot more stuff here. So right now it's saying all of these aren't defined, which we're going to do right now. So let's go ahead and go back to navbar component. Let's go to index.js. And in order for stock components to show up, we actually have to import that at the top. So let me Command B this. So go underneath the imports and let's just say imports, curly brace, and then we're gonna just import everything that we just created. So the first one was the nav. So then we got nav, then we got navbar, navbar container, and then let's see what else we got here. We have, let's just read them off. We got nav logo, nav icon, mobile icon, and then the handle click is just a function. So let me, from here we're gonna say from, and then I'm gonna say quotes dot slash navbar elements. So if I save this now, we should only have the handle click error now. So let's see, link is not defined too. So cool thing is with, let's see, there's a link in the stock components. So let's do Command B. Now we're going back to the navbar stock components section. And since we're using a link here, we actually have to import that. And since we're using Gatsby, all you need to do is just say import curly brace link from quotes Gatsby. So instead of saying like React router, this is straight up with Gatsby. So I'll save that here. And then let's check, we got some more errors down. Let me see. Now it's saying set click and handle click. So let's go to index.js. And I want to go and let me drag this low so you can see. So back into the navbar index.js file. So go inside under the set use state section here, inside the navbar function. I'm gonna say here and go, let's do const handle click, and then I'm gonna set that equal to an arrow function. Set that equal here, and then basically we're gonna say set click to the opposite of click. So this essentially is going to toggle the where's it at, the mobile icon to go from the bars to the X. So let's save this now. Let's see if anything else. Data type I would never use, and layout.js. So let me do Command or Control C, and then there's Gatsby develop. Let's see if this runs. If not, then let's see. Yeah, I keep saying this. Enter. All right, so now let me go ahead and let me just refresh this and see if it's showing up. So perfect. So right now it's actually working. So now you can see we did earlier. So let's just go through what happened. So if I go and let me just zoom this out. Right now nothing's here yet. It just shows our logo and then our little icon. And you're probably wondering, well, how is this here? It's because we have this layout. So essentially layout, think of it as like the structure of your site. So right now we got like all this stuff here. So let me just get rid of this here. Just get rid of the first div. Keep the main with the children. And then for the footer, we can delete the footer here as well. And then also this bottom div here. So just put main and navbar. Let me save it now. And let me refresh. So let's see, it's still showing. So I guess it's because I have the children on the index, because we're on the index right now. So yeah, so let's get rid of this stuff here. Let's just put h1 homepage. You can see what's going on. And it should be, let me see if I can set this up. It should not say, let's do Command C again, Gatsby develop. And sometimes, it's actually, am I running this on another? That's weird. Oh, let's just run it and let's see once it finishes up. All right, so now I fixed it. Okay, so I just had to restart it, and we got the home page here. And now let's go back and look at our code, what we just did. So Command B this. Actually, what happened? All right, Command B. So pretty much right now, we can't really see the scroll because there's nowhere to scroll. But at least you can show the mobile icon. So this code right here, I have an on-click function, and it triggers this. And basically, every time I click it, if it's true, it's gonna turn into the X. Else it's gonna turn into the bar. So right now, that's basically the functionality here. And then once we finish adding up the navbar, you'll see the rest. And then the rest, like here, this is the scroll function that pretty much, when we scroll, the background's changing. But since we can't really scroll right now, you won't be able to see it. But I'll show you in just a second. So let's just finish up the navbar really quick, and then we can see all the cool magic stuff we just made. So pretty much underneath this mobile icon here, Command Enter, and then let's just create a subpoint called nav menu. And then here, this one's gonna also have the on click with the handle click, and then also we're just gonna have click with the click value here. And then pretty much we're gonna have the nav item, so nav item, and then here's gonna be the nav link. So nav links, I want to set this equal to the current home page, and then this one's gonna just say home. And then this is gonna make our life so much easier. We can just copy this nav item with the nav links, Command C, and then paste it, and then paste it again. And then here we can just change this one to whatever you want. So I'm gonna just call this images. So this is our images page. And then this one will be the destinations. And then here we'll simply change the path to images, and then let's change this to destinations. And pretty much we're good with the navbar in terms of the code here. Now we just have to add the styling. So let's do Command B here. Also, since we're here already, we'll just do styles first. So go to navbar, the elements page, and then let's go under here. And it looks like we need the nav, let's see, nav menu. So I'm gonna say export const nav menu equal to style.ul backtick. And then I'm gonna say display flex, align items to be center, list style is going to be none, and then text dash align is going to be center here. Then I'm gonna say add media screen and max width to be, let's do 960 pixels, and then curly braces, and then I'm gonna say display to be flex, flex direction to be column, width to be 100%, and then height to be 90 viewport height. Let's do position colon absolutes, top to be 80 pixels. Let me scroll this back up. And then let's see. And then I'm gonna say top colon. Actually, here, let me delete the top here first. Let's do top and then $, curly brace, parenthesis, curly brace. I actually want to have this click set. So basically, we're gonna set equal to an arrow function here, and then it's gonna be if parenthesis if click is true, then I want it to display 100%. So this is the way I did the little drop down like nav animation effect. Feel free to refactor this and write it a different way, but this is one way I have it to working. So I'm gonna say else I want it to show, so I'm gonna put minus 1000 pixels so it's completely off the screen, and then put semicolon here. And let me get rid of the screen here. And then let's do opacity. Let's just keep it at 1. Transition will be all 0.2 SEs. And then the background is going to be #FF. Let's nav menu. Now we have nav item and then nav links, and then we should be set in terms of the styles. So it wasn't too bad. So let's just do export const nav links equal to styled, and again this is where we're passing in the link here, backticks, and then inside we're going to say color to be hashtag 141414, display is flex, align items is center, text decoration will be none, padding will be 0.5 rem with 1 rem, so that's top, bottom, left, right. I just want the height to be 100%. Actually, let's close that out. And then let's do font family, and we're gonna actually import these eventually. So let's do UBUNTU, comma sans dash serif. And now let me scroll this up. Press enter here. Then we're going to say at media screen and max dash width to be 960 pixels. Curly brace, text align is center. Padding is 2 rem. Width is 100%, and I want it to be display of table. And then under this one, we're just going to have the hover, and this will be the last line. So we're almost done. So for hover on stock components, you just do it and colon hover, curly brace, the color, I just want it to be hashtag FF4040, and then transition to be all 0.3s ease. Okay, so we'll save here, Command B. Let's go back to the index.js, and we just simply import these at the top. So that's what we got: nav menu, we have nav item, and then nav links. Save this here, and let's refresh, and let's click on this, and it looks like, let me see if everything's showing up. So let me do Command J. Let's see on our terminal. Let's do Control C, and then do Gatsby develop again. I'm using the up arrow on my keyboard to bring back previous things I typed, and let's run it again. Let's see if it actually worked. Alright, so I realized I had it running on my other screen, so let me redo it so we can go back to the actual 8,000. So it runs up, and let me change this to 8,000 because I'm gonna that one this time. So I'm saying nav item was not found in Navbar elements. Did we put in nav item? Let me check. Nav item, Navbar elements, nav links, nav menu, nav icon. Oh, I guess we forgot nav item. Alright, yeah, one little thing here. Let me see. Okay, I completely forgot the nav item. So let's just add that in between, right above the nav links. Okay, so it's hard to see. So go back to the Navbar elements and just add nav links. So export const nav. What is it? We say nav links or nav item? Yeah, it's nav item. Okay, yeah. So nav item equals to style.li, backtick, and then let's do the height 80 pixels. And the cool thing is it actually shows us. Let's do media creator here too, media screen. And I like how it shows like the errors like right there, so you don't have to sit there and go crazy like trying to figure out what actually happened. And let's just set the width to 100%. So now this should fix the error. Why is it it shouldn't be there. Okay, yeah. So now we can, let's try to refresh the page. Alright, so let's see if this works now. Alright, cool. So now we have this little down animation. You can't really see right now because the page is white, but once we finish the colors, it's coming from the top down. And then also we have this stuff here. So right now it looks crazy because what we need to do is actually add in some CSS from the layout, because the layout page is going to like fix this up. So let's do that right now. So let's do Command B, and I'm using the Layout CSS. It's kind of like a let's actually Command A, get rid of all this crazy stuff here, save it, and then we can see it's still not exactly how I wanted to do. So let me go here, and right now I'm just gonna go and let's do the little asterisk box dash sizing border dash box. And then let's do margin 0, padding 0, font family, and we're using these, so permanent marker, comma cursive. And let's just save that for now. And let's see, so now it looks much cleaner, it fits here, it looks like it's good. And then also the nav should be in the right place. So right now it's in cursive because we don't have the actual permanent marker set up yet. But pretty much what we need to do is import those fonts. So let's actually go to the top. And I already have these imported, but again, this you can reuse these or you can use whichever one you want. Let me just do Command B. Let me save these here. And let's see if I already have. Actually, I think I already have it. Did I do it twice? It should be for point marker family. So it shouldn't. Yeah, I have it twice. I don't know why I have it twice. That's weird. Yeah, so it should just be this line here. And basically, this is off Google Fonts. So again, you can use whatever fonts you want. This is the one I'm using, but right now I have it to set to where these are like regular, and then these are like the crazy shape here. So you can copy this in, or you can just straight up go to Google Fonts and then import it too. But that's what I have there. Fonts, again, that's just something optional. You don't have to have it exactly as mine if you don't want to. And then pretty much now we're set with the actual navbar, and you can't really see the like the effects because it's just a white background. So what I want to do is actually go in and let's create the hero section. So there's the main section. So go to components and let's do new folder, and we just call this hero section. And then in the hero section, let's do new file, index.js, and then right click again. Let's do hero. Let's see, how did I name this one? Hero elements or hero section? Oh, I think I should use yeah, I should use regular CSS for this one. So I'm just gonna, for this, just for example purposes, I'm just gonna have it like this because this one's such a simple page for filler. So let me just put let's do hero section.css. Now feel free to refactor this into stock components, but I just wanted to show this is such a simple section that I just kept it like this to make it easier. The main section, which we'll create in just a second, is the images component, and that's the one that's the most, I would say, important. The rest of this stuff's like typical React, but basically let's go to index.js here and let's just do import. So imr, enter, and then let's do import quotes / hero section.css. So again, usually you want to stick with either CSS, Sass, or stock components, but since this one was sort of like a filler for the site design, it's so short. You'll see how basic this the thing is once I finish it. So I'm gonna say function, and let's do hero section, and then literally we go in here, return parentheses, and let's just do dot hero -container tab, press enter, or just create a div with hero container. Now if you're wondering how the heck did I do this, I made a video on how to write code faster in React, so if you want to check it out really quick, you can, and that's essentially how to have it like emit based on JSX. And then here I'm going to say h1 and just say travel more, and then let's just do p tag, let's just say plan your next trip today. And then let's just say div here. So let's do dot with the class name of hero -btn. So btns, and then let's just say so I'll eventually change this to a button, but for now let me just put a filler button for now, so we can say just get started. So let's save that here. I actually have to default export this, and it should be export defaults hero section, and these should not be brackets, these should be curly braces. So let's do curly brace here and curly brace here. And this is literally the entire hero section. So you can see why I just kept it as normal CSS, because it's like overkill for this tutorial to go crazy. But in case you've never touched stock components, at least you got to see like a hint of it. But basically, if you want to see the full stock components, like just all of it, I had the previous React video doing it, but this one I'm just going to show you this one right here. So hero section, go to CSS, and then let's just fill this stuff out. So here let's do dot hero -container, curly brace here, And then let's do the background, and I want the background to be actual image. So let's do colon URL parentheses close // images / background 2.jpg. So right now we don't have this image, so we're not gonna be able to see it, but I'll show you where I can get those later. And let's just do center / cover, and then let me do so you can see it better. And then no dash repeat, and then I'll show you. I'll put it on my GitHub so you can access to these images. But either way, you can get them on like Unsplash, Pexels, pretty much any website. Doesn't matter. Let's set the height equal to 100 viewport height. Let's see, width to be 100%. Display to be flex. Flex direction to be column. Let's just do justify content center. Align items. Let's do center. Box shadow, let's do inset of 0, 0, 0, 1000 pixels, RGBA of 0, 0, 0.2. Let's do object fit, contain, and margin dash top. Let's do -80 pixels. So if I say this now, we're probably gonna have an error, but we don't have it actually imported, so it won't even matter yet. And then let's just do hero dash container less than h1, and let's say color to be #FFF, font size to be 100 pixels, margin dash top to be 0 pixels. And then above this or below this one, we're gonna have the let's do dot hero dash container less than p. Oh, what the heck happened? P tag. Then basically we're gonna say margin dash top to be 8 pixels. Color #FFF. Font size to be 32 pixels. And then yeah, I'll just leave it like that for now. And then under here, let's just do the let's check out, let's see, dot hero dash btns. Let me scroll up. Let's do margin dash top 32 pixels. And then let's see, that should be pretty much that for now. And then we have to do the media queries as well. So let's do underneath this here. Let's just say at media screen and max dash width colon to be 960 pixels. And let's just say dot hero dash container is greater than h1. Let's do font size to be 70 pixels. Now, if you're confused with the CSS, it's basically saying look into the hero container and choose the h1. So everything's wrapped right now with the hero container, and there's only one h1. So that's where I'm targeting like that. There's a different way to do it. And then let's see, let's do at media screen and max width to be, let's see, 768 pixels. And let's just copy this again here, and let's just make that 60 pixels. And then let's do hero dash container less than p, and that can just be font size of 30 pixels. So I'll save that here. And then what we want to do is actually add this to, let's say, on like our index page. So let's just put this here. Let's just say call this hero section. Press enter and auto imports. If it didn't, go and import hero section from /components/hero section. Close this out. Let me save this here. And right now, let's see. Hero section index. And this is the CSS. So right now it's not let's see, I think I actually have to do Command J and close it back out. So let's see. Yeah, actually background 2 is not installed. So let's see if it'll run even without it. If not, then we'll have to actually drag that back in. So let me try and see if this will run, if it's refreshing. Yeah, so it's saying right now the background image is not installed. So actually I'll have my link to my GitHub. You can get access to that. You can just download the files, or you can just simply find your own pictures. But basically, let's go and let me see if I can drag my images over, so let me try to find my folder really quick. So I got a bunch of images, so let me just drag these over to the images folder here. Alright, so now let's see if this loads this time. Alright, perfect. So now we got it loading. And this is what it currently looks like. So let's see if yeah, right now the navbar is kind of messed up. Alright, so I realized why it was not doing my designs, because I have this on the index.js on pages. Go here and just delete the homepage word, and when you save it, you should see that it looks much cleaner. Alright, so now we got most of this done here, and then also we got a gradient. So right now, let's create the button since we're here already. And this was originally like a dynamic button where I can reuse it all over the page, but since I only have one button, then it's just one button. But eventually, like if you wanted to use more buttons on your website, you can put this literally anywhere. So just go to components, right click, new file, and I'm just gonna call this one button elements.js. So this one's gonna be a stock component. And again, I'm just doing both CSS stock components just for this example, but ideally pick one. But I'm gonna say import style from, because I originally had this in a stock component, and I just add the additional stuff with CSS just so it's easier to read. And see, import stock component. All right, so now I was gonna say export const button equals to style dot. It's gonna be a button backtick. So let me do command B. You can see this. Let's do border dash radius to be 4 pixels background. And again, we're using the props with stock components. So basically, I'm gonna say $, curly brace, parenthesis, curly brace. And I want this to be called as the primary. So that's like the primary color. I just made that name up. You can call this whatever you want to. But we're gonna say equal arrow function, and then parentheses primary. And if that's true, then I want the color of the background to be hashtag FF4040, and then outside colon. Also, I want this to be hashtag 0467FB, and then semicolon. And then I want to do white. Let's do white space colon no wrap. Let's do padding to be, let's see, $, curly brace, parenthesis, curly brace. Let's do big, and then arrow function, parentheses, big. If that's true, then I want the padding of this to be 16 pixels by 64 pixels. And I have the spacing I don't need extra here. And then else I want it to be 10 pixels by 20 pixels. And I'll get rid of this here. And then let's do color the text to be white, so hashtag FFF. Font size, let's do $, curly brace, parenthesis, curly brace, font big. And let's set this equal to, or should be parentheses, font big. If that's true, I want it to be 20 pixels. Else I want it to be 16 pixels. So let me actually close this out. Outline is going to be none. Border is going to be none. Cursor pointer, and then let's do font dash family, and that's going to be UBUNTU, comma, sans serif. And then underneath, still in the button, we're gonna add a hover effect just for design purposes. So and color hover, so and colon hover transition to be all 0.3s ease dash outs. Let's do background to be hashtag FFF, and then actually no, that shouldn't be there. That should be background dot. Actually, let's just copy this one. Let's really copy this one here. So we just save ourselves from typing all this. And the difference is I want the first color to be switched. So basically, let's just take this color here, Command X, bring it. So delete the colon. So that's the first one. And then let's do colon and copy and paste that color there. Save that there, and then just put a at media screen and max dash width to be 960 pixels with the width to be 100%. So now you're probably wondering, why did we make this button? Well, we use the filler. So let's go back to the hero section, and here's that JS, and then let's replace this now with button. So now it's an actual component, style component we're passing in. And it didn't work, so let's do control space, make sure it imports. Doesn't look like it's importing, so let's just do it manually. So let's do imports, and let's do curly brace, button, and then just do from. And then let's see, button is here, so we do dot dot slash button elements. Save that now, and then I refresh it. You can see it's currently like this, but what I want to add is the properties that we created. So I want to say font big, and then primary. So save that here, and it changes it. So if you're like, well, what the heck just happened? Essentially, like here's the background primary, here's big for the padding, and then font big. So basically I just by putting it inside of this button, this opening tag, is essentially true, meaning it's existing. So then you can just literally just boom, you just have it there. And then I can just scroll out, and perfect. So now we're pretty much done with the first section. Now let's do the fun part with Gatsby, which is the actual image component. So pretty much, let's go now to image.js, and let's command J here. And feel free to read about Gatsby image and all this use static query stuff up here. But basically, what I'm gonna do is, let's go ahead and delete majority. Actually, let's delete everything, because I want to do this from scratch so you actually understand what the heck's going on. So right now, what we're gonna need is to get the data. So pretty much, if I save this, you'll run an error, but let me see. Let's do command J, and let's command C this, and then let's try to run Gatsby develop again, because I want to pull up GraphQL so we can show you like what the heck's going on. Alright, so it's saying I have a little error, but let's see. If I scroll up, you see these two links. So we got both. Let me bring this bigger. We both have the regular link we've been going to, but now we have this GraphQL link. So click on this. So it's a command, click. And if you've never used GraphQL, it can be pretty crazy. And even I still don't know what's going on half the time. But basically, let's just let's delete all this here. Let's just click out here. So this isn't a GraphQL course, but it's just gonna show you like a snippet of how you can use Gatsby and GraphQL to get data back. So originally we added images to our file. So what I want to show you is how we can actually display that data here. So right now if I hit play, nothing's here because we didn't type anything inside of here. So pretty much I'm going to go and click on all files because I want to target all of the files that we have for this specific example. And let me just unclick all this stuff because yours won't say this if so yes, let me unclick everything here and then also filter. Alright, so the first thing is I want to do, if I hit play right now, what you can see it returns is an ID. So we have what, a bunch of pictures. So let me actually go and let's see if I can find the where's it at? Let's see on the, if I can't find this. So if I go to public URL, for example, like this, you can see like it actually will show you the name of the images. So like Gatsby astronaut, SVG background, pyramid, background 2, SVG 3, etc. And then if I go back to the actual VS Code in our images folder, and also I had SVGs from Revision Design. These are, don't worry about these for this example. But you can see here like we have background 2, which is like the ocean. We have image 2, image 4, image 5, etc. So then if I go back to GraphQL, you can see like it's actually showing us the actual images that we have in our code editor. So this is cool to see because now we can actually create this data and then get it to display utilizing this awesome thing right here. So what I want to do is let's unclick these boxes here. And pretty much what before we actually let's see, go back to edges. Before we even get into that stuff, I want to filter it, because right now on the original site design, I only showcased these images that have the name like image dash number, basically image 2 through 9, etc. But I don't want, these were just two background images that I used for the actual website design, like the homepage. But you notice they weren't in the actual image gallery that we showcased below. It's only on the home section and then on the destination section. So in order to prevent you from showing these, we have to filter it, because the function we're going to write essentially will map through all of the files in our images, and I want it to only locate images that don't have specific names. And also, since we're here, let's delete these two icons, the Gatsby images. We can delete those. We're not going to use them. And basically now what I'm going to do is, let me just show you how cool this is. So click on filter, and then in filter, what's cool is you can actually filter it based off of the file type and then also the name of the file. So for instance, let's see if I can find this regex. Where's it at? Right, can't even see. Should be actually, yeah, it's under extension, and then I want to click on regex here, and then let me just show you here. So essentially, if I were to type this code right here, so slash parentheses JPG, and then the straight bar quote PNG, and then the straight bar again, parentheses JPEG, and then the backslash here. So before I play and actually show you, right now you can see we have SVGs, right? So in the actual VS Code, we have about 3 SVGs. So one here, and then that's 3, right? But since we have this filter here, this is only gonna show JPG, PNG, or JPEG, right? So if I hit play here, and then let's add the let's see, public URL here. Let me add that just for example purposes. Now if we bring this over, you'll notice that if you look through all of these, displaying that none of them have SVGs in here. So this essentially filtered out those 3 SVGs that we just randomly have in our images. And then also in the filter, so here there's another little code NIN. So it's essentially saying like not in the array. So let me see if I can pull up this, so because you're probably like, what is going on? So I pulled up Gatsby filter, and now let me also feel free to check out the docs. It's really helpful for understanding this type of stuff. So let me look for here. So these are basically all of the little shortcuts on the filters. So if we go back to Graphql, you can see like E equals glob in, etc. So the one is NIN. So essentially here, NIN means short for not in array. So this must not be an element in the array. And pretty much here's like the sort expression, meaning like it must match the pattern you have. And then you need the backslashes to keep them out. So right now, the next thing I want to do is in the NIN, I'm going to add in the actual name of the file. So the way I'm going to do this is with an actual array. So I'm going to say brackets and then parentheses, and make sure you're typing this out with me, because we're actually going to have to copy and paste this into VS Code. So in case you're just like sitting back and watching, just know we're gonna actually have to copy this into VS Code, so that's why you want to be copying this down. And then I put in background, which is the name of the image, and then let me drag this. The second one is do comma and then quotes background 2. And if you can see it, you can also paste it here too. Just type it in here and it'll pop up for you. But you can see it looks like that. And then if I play it now, and we go now to check it, let's see. Actually, it should. Did I not complete the all right, let me make sure I did everything right. Extension regex curly section should be, let me see, it should be yeah, I think I typed this inside of the wrong thing. So it should be here. There should be a curly brace. So let me Command X this out and go outside of the regex. So let me make this easier. Whenever VS Code is like way easier to understand. But now yeah, so this is the regex parenthesis with the curly brace, and then this is the extension. So now I'm going to add underneath this one, I'm going to paste what we have with the NIN, and this one actually should be name. So let's do name colon curly brace NIN, the two ones we're filtering, and then curly brace here. And let me make sure I have everything set. So it should be query, all file, filter, extension, and let's see, did I miss? Actually, this should be one curly brace, and then that should be, let's see, so curly brace extension, regex, JPEG, curly brace, name colon curly brace, arrays, curly brace, and then press enter, curly brace. And now when we run it, let's see if it worked. Yeah, so perfect. So now that worked. All right, so again, if you're like, well, what happened? I got lost. I'll copy this back into VS Code and it'll be way easier to read it. But basically, we're filtering for the extensions for the images that have the JPEGs right here. And then next line, we have the name of the file, and I'm filtering for if it includes background or background 2, which if you go back to our images, this one's called background, and then this one's called background 2. You can see that. And then we'll go back here, and you can see in the actual results that these are no longer showing background 2. It's only showing the images and the image at 8. So now we got the filters set. So the next thing I want to do is here we have edges here. So if you don't have that open, make sure you click on it. So like down here, where's that? Where'd that? So scroll down in the all file, click on edges, and there's gonna have, I have node open. So if you don't have node, then click on node, and then let's click on base. So let's get rid of this ID here. Let's get rid of the public URL. I want to click on the base. And then if I play it right now, you can see here, now we actually have the images names. And then I'm gonna click on shot image sharp. And then I'm gonna click on fluid. So there's two different choices. You have fluid or fix. And essentially fluid is just, it like way cleaner and easier for images. Fix is more of like a fixed dimensions in terms of your image, but you can read more on the actual docs. But essentially here, this is going to return a bunch of stuff. So in the actual docs, since we're using Graphql, we can't actually use a shortcut key here and pass in this value. But when I hit play, what's going to happen is it's automatically going to give these properties here and show us all this stuff. But in reality, on actual VS Code, you would erase this and just do ... Gatsby image sharp fluid. But since we're using Graphql, it doesn't work like this. So it's gonna say it doesn't work, unknown fragment. But when we copy this in the VS Code, you'll see. So basically take everything from query, just take this entire thing and let's do Command C. And then let's bring this back to our images. So go now to image.js in the components folder. And then let me Command B this here. And let's go, and it looked like I missed a bunch of stuff. So my thing auto saves and removes anything I didn't include, so I have to re-import that stuff. But here, simply go under image and just say const data is equal to use static query. And then we're gonna say parentheses GraphQL backtick. And then in here, we're just gonna copy and paste what we just had here. So I can erase this query here. And then pretty much, for some reason my VS Code is weird, but basically if I hit a space, it shows, but like, I don't know, I guess my like setup, it still works though. So I don't know why it's just like, it's like dark like that. And then let me just import React at the top because mine like went away for some reason. And then I have to do the import GraphQL again, GraphQL, and then use static query. If yours doesn't like auto remove it, then you already have this, but I have to redo it. So let's say Gatsby here. And then let's see, save it now. Actually, guys, we don't need to use oh yeah, I haven't returned it yet, so that's why my React keeps doing it. But anyways, now underneath this this parentheses, but install the image function. We're gonna return, and then parentheses here, and I'm gonna map through these images. So I'm actually going to use your CSS classes for this normally, just cause it's way easier for you to understand. If I use tile components, you might get confused, but basically, I'm say dot image dash container, and then I'm gonna have the h1. It's gonna say view our destinations, and then here I'm gonna say dot image dash grid. So in here, this is where we actually will display the images. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna do the curly braces here, and target it with data. So data gets the actual images, the data. And then we're gonna say all file, and then we're gonna say dot edges dot map. So this is similar to like we're reading down the line here, except we'll go to edges, and now we're gonna map over this. So we're gonna say parentheses, and then we're gonna pass an arrow function with 2 parameters, which will be image, and then I'm gonna pass in key because we need to have a key for this, or they will get mad at you. And then arrow function curly braces, and then here. Actually, this should be, let me command C. This shouldn't be curly, it should be parentheses. So it just returns it. And then we're going to say img. This is the way you do it Gatsby. And then we're going to set the key equal to key. Let's do a class name equal to image dash item. Let's fluid. So this is how you can add the actual properties. So let's do fluid curly brace image.node.child image sharp dot fluid, and then let's do alt equal to image dash node dot base, and this is straight from the docs, by the way, dot split parentheses quotes dot, and then array brackets 0. So this is only use this section right here for the alt if your file name is the name of the image. So like for this example, I only have one thing called pyramid, where it's like actual pyramid. The rest I just had it already named like this, but ideally you would rename this to like, I don't know, what is it, like New York City? I don't know what this looks like, or just say like downtown, whatever. And this would be like beach. So you'd actually name it the picture, like person canoeing or kayaking. And I don't know where this is, like, was that Brazil? I don't know where that's at. But basically you get the point, and then we got like a little pier. And that's what this code is for the alt using here. Because if not, it's literally going to use the name of the image. So it's literally going to say image-2 for the alt, which is not a good thing to have. But this is just for example purposes. And then pretty much, let's see. And then we have to close this out. So underneath the alt, we're going to do the slash curly brace here to close out the image tag. And then now let's see. Go to the top and import React again. And then we need to import 2 more things now. So let's do import img. So this is image from Gatsby-image. So let me save that here. And now let's see, we have to actually add the image.css too. So right now, let me see if I can render this and see if anything pops up. So let's go now to the where's it? Index.js. And let's just paste under here the image component. If it's it doesn't want to import for some reason, so let's just manually do it. So let me just say imports let's see, image from /components/ image. Alright, let's save this here. Actually, I forgot to close out the tag. And now let's check out, where's my site at? Here. So everything is working. Now you can see that we just posted up all of the images and they're all displaying on an actual website. So now let me show you what I meant about the alt tag. So like for instance, if I right click on this random image with the beach, you can see we're utilizing Gatsby image now, so all this stuff will be optimized based off the screen and everything. And let me see if I can see, where's the alt on this one? Yeah, so right now it says alt image 8, which is the literal name of the image file. So if you're using the code we have here, which is from the docs, right? this line, you want to change the name of your image file to the actual name of it. If not, you're gonna be, that's not really the best practice to name it image 8. Like if no one reading it, like what the heck does image 8 mean? But I have it on the pyramid. So let me right click on the pyramid and select that one. You can see all is pyramid. So it's much better in terms of describing what the image is, because it's the actual name of it. So if you can refactor that code and make it better, so you don't have to worry about that, and just name, like you can actually manually add the all, but again that requires like additional steps. So now what we have to do is actually style this image stuff now. So let's go and it's just cool to show you guys, like we just mapped through the GraphQL data and displayed it just like this. So this isn't an actual like this is Gatsby image. This isn't like a manual image tag. So that's something that's cool about Gatsby. So since I'm here, let's just create an image CSS file. So in components, new file, I just call this image.css. And this is a super quick CSS. So let me just go here and let's just do Command B. And let's do .image-container. Let's say text align, center, margin 150 pixels. Go under here. Next I'm gonna do image-container of the H1. This is gonna be margin dash bottom to be 64 pixels. I'm gonna do image-grid. That's gonna be display grid. Grid gap is gonna be 10 pixels. Grid template columns will be repeat autofill, comma min max, parentheses 250 pixels, comma 1FR. And then let's do grid auto rows, min max 50 pixels by auto, semicolon. Let's do margin 0 auto, max width 1000 pixels, and then padding to be 0.32 pixels. And then underneath this, let's do dot image dash item colon nth dash child of 5. So this is just the way I made like the bigger, some pages bigger than others. And I want to say just grid column end. Once this is a span 2. And then let's copy this again. And then let's just say 9. And then I want this to, let's see, grid column end to span 2, but I want the grid dash row dash start to be 4. And then under here, I'm gonna do dot image dash grid img hover, and this is cool hover effect transform scale of 1.1, and then let's do transition to be 0.6s all e's colon important. Now if you don't put important, Gatsby has like predefined properties, so if you don't do it, it's gonna be instantaneous, and then you're just gonna be going crazy why it didn't work. But that's just how I did it here. And then let's import this to image.js. So let's do imports image.css. That should be / save, refresh, and currently this is what we got going on. So let's see, maybe I must have messed something up. This is what it currently looks like here. Yeah, so it looks, oh yeah, one thing I forgot to do, this is a cool thing with Fluid, you can set like default like properties on all the images. So let's go to Fluid, because right now you can see here some images aren't exactly the same, so when they span, they span based off the original size. So like this one should be exactly the same as this, but it's not. Clearly you can see a difference, and the reason is because of the way I didn't put current widths and heights. So if here under Fluid, so go back to image.js, next to Fluid you can set like default properties. So like max height, I can set this to 600 pixels, and I can say max width to 600, and then here I save it now and refresh. It should fix the design. So let's see, being really slow right now, and let me just space it out. So you can see it's a little different. You can see here. Looks way different than normal. And then I can scroll over like this. And then I'll shrink it over. So right now I'm not sure why it's might have messed up on a class. Let me see. Alright, so let me see. I must have messed up on something. Alright, so let's see. We got image, should be grid, span. So that's row 2, start, end. So I know I mistyped something. Let's see. So yeah, put on image grid. Let me put, I forgot to put width of 100%. Let's see, that should be fixing it. Oh, I forgot to put 0 on image container. Just put 0 on the margin. And let's try this now. Still not working. That's weird. Have everything. Grid column end span 2. Grid column end span 2. Grid row start 4. Oh, so I guess it's this. Put this line under here. Let's see if that fixes it. Oh yeah, so that's the way to do it. So now say grid row start 4 and then grid column end span 2 like that. And now let's see if we scroll out now. You can see this is what it currently looks like. And then when we scroll down, we switch it over. You can see they all fit nice and snug and look good here. Awesome. All right, so now that's pretty much the Gatsby image section. And also when I inspect it, you can see that the dimensions and everything are showcasing too. So let's go ahead and let's work on the footer now. So go to components, new folder, and let's just call this footer. And then let me say new file, say index.js. And let me see if I think I did this one in stock components. Yeah, and then let's do a new file of, let's see, footer elements.js. So index, let's go here. And this one's not too crazy, but let's just go try to get through it. So first things first, let's do import React from React. Here we go. And then let's say const footer equal to arrow function. And let's just start returning our stock components. So this one is pretty simple, but here I'm going to say footer container. And then I'm going to have a social media section here. And let's copy this out. Then I'm going to have a social media wrap. And then I have a social logo. And this one's going to be a link. So it's going to be to the home page. And then outside of that, we're going to have a social icon. That's going to be a sub-closing tag. It's going to say explore. And then let's do under the logo here. Underneath that, we're going to have the website rights. So I'm going to say website rights. And that's going to say explore. And then I have the copyright symbol, but I'm just going to leave it out for now. Actually, I have another link. You don't have to save, you don't have to copy this, but you can just put pastes in here. I forgot the shortcut keys. Let me know the shortcuts to just like auto type it. But basically here I'm gonna do curly braces now after that. And then I'm gonna say new date, parentheses, dot get full year, parentheses here. So what this essentially does is that it just automatically updates the date based off of the year. So I'll just say 2020, 2021, 22, and 23, etc. until like infinity basically. And then underneath the website rights, I'm gonna press enter. Actually, let me save this for now so you can see better. So under here, save it, or not save it, let me say press enter. And then I'm gonna have a social icons. And I'm just gonna go through and finish it up with the names because it's fairly short, and then we can just go style it, then we'd be done pretty much. So then I'll have, let's see, social icon link. And these are 8 tags. The reason they're 8 tags is because we're linking off of the website. You use links like the link to React Router style in the website, but when you're linking off of it, they say to use the A tag with hrefs. case you didn't know. And then target equals underscore blank. And I'm just do Rio-label equal to Facebook. Now I'll close this out, and then inside of that, I'm just gonna have FA Facebook / close. And these are from React icons, so we'll just import those. And then simply all you need to do here is just paste the highlight social icon link with the logo Facebook. Press enter, and then just paste that again. So we have Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and then LinkedIn. So now we can just go in here and switch this up. So let's just go here. Let's do, I'm gonna do Command D once just so I can change it like right there. So let's say Instagram, okay, spell Instagram. And then for this next one, Command D, let's do YouTube. And then also cool fact here, let me link my let me paste my link in here to show you how to put like a link outside. So like for here YouTube, you can't just put slash, you have to put // alright, why did it do that? It should be like that. Yeah, it should be // www.youtube, and then this is my just channel link. And then also you need to do rel equals to quotes no opener, no space, no refer. And then next we have underneath this YouTube, we'll do Twitter. So let's do Twitter. I should delete the K. Oh, I put it there. And then the last one is just LinkedIn. So let's just go here, Command D. Let's just say linked in. And then we can pretty much save this here. And then it's going to run an error, but let's go ahead and import the React icons now, and then we can add the style later. So let's do import curly brace FA Facebook, FA Instagram, FA linked in, FA Twitter, and FA YouTube from quotes React dash icon / FA. So got those there. And now let's go ahead and start styling it. So let's go to the footer elements page. And let's just style this one's pretty quick. Let's do export const footer container equal to style.div backtick, and then let's do background color of hashtag 101522, and then let's do display to be flex direction to be column. Let's do justify content center, and then align items to be center. And then under here, let's do export const social media equals style dot section backtick. Let me close that, you can see it. Max width to be 1000 pixels, and then let's do a width of 100%. And then let's do export const social media wrap equal to style.div backtick. Display is flex. Justify content is space between. Align items is center. Width is 90%. Max width is 1000 pixels, and margin is 20 pixels auto. And what is wrong with this code? Why is it looking like that? Okay, yeah, I've got the semicolon. That's one thing I've learned, is if your code highlight is not colored properly, you probably did a typo. So I'll actually go and back to the social media wrap, and let's do at media screen and max width to be 820 pixels, curly brace flex direction to be column. And then let's go up here, and then let's go to here and say export const social logo equal to styled, and this is the link, so we're going to use the link, and then backticks, and then I'm going to say color hashtag FFF, justify self colon starts cursor pointer text decoration to be none, font size is 2 rem, displays flex, align items is center, and then the margin bottom is 16 pixels. So I'm gonna go here, and then let's see, we got social icon, we're almost there. This is short code for this part, so let's do export const social icon equal to styled of DISCALA backticks, and then let's do margin dash right 10 pixels. Scroll up, export const website rights equal to style dash small backtick. Let's do color hashtag FFF, margin dash bottom to be 16 pixels, and then font family to be UBUNTU, comma sans serif. What happened? And then under there, let's do export const social icon equal to style.div backticks, and it's gonna be display flex, justify content set, actually no, should be space between. Let's do a line items of center, and let's do width of 240 pixels. Now let's do export const social icon link, and it's the last one, so we're almost done. So it's gonna be style.atag backticks, and then let's do color hashtag FF, and then font size is gonna be 24 pixels. So we gotta save this, but we have to import stuff at the top. So what we need to do first is go back to the top. Let's do import styled from styled components, import the link from Gatsby, and then import quotes or curly brace the icon DISCALA from React icon /di. And then last thing, we need to go back to the actual index.js file, and then we have to import all of these that we just created in the stock components. So let me go enter here, and I'm gonna say import curly brace footer container comma social icon comma social icon link comma social logo comma social media comma social media wrap, and then website rights layout from quotes./footer elements. So if I save this, then we gotta do command B. Let's add this to our layout.js underneath here. Let's just do opening footer, not that way, footer, let's see, press enter, and it's importing the actual footer container. What the heck? Now I want footer, so let's close it out, and let me try to redo this. Yeah, like that. I guess it didn't work properly, so let's just do you get rid of that. I don't know why I imported that. Just bring this one down, and then let's just say imports footer from /footer. Save, and let's see if that we got an error. Oh, also we don't need this stuff up here, by the way. this cons data query stuff. Yeah, so let's save that. Let's get rid of this. Save. It's saying footer design I've never used, and so that I got on phone is not defined. Okay, so let's go back to index.js. And did I export default? Oh, I didn't export default this. So first we got to export default footer, and then also LinkedIn. I believe it is on the let's see, 46, 42 should be lowercase LinkedIn I, and then on 23. Let's see here. What happened? What is this? Let me make sure. Is this even supposed to be here? It should be social icon. Yeah. It's saying what is not defined. So did I pass that in? Oh, I did pass it in. Yeah. So that should be social icons. Now let's save this. And it's saying it's not defined still. Did it pass this in right? Oh yeah, I have to add it up here again. It should work. Alright, so now that's there. Alright, so now I got the footer going. Got a little footer action. And yeah, so right now we got majority of the design. So when I go to images now, I want the images to display and then also destination. So cool little trick. We'll go to the images folder or images file on pages. And literally you can change this to this is just for SEO. There's much more stuff you can do with that, but for now let's focus on this. Let's just say images, and let's just import this. So let's just do import images from, actually this should be image because it's that's the name of the file. Bad. And from, let's do quotes, let's see // getting out of here, going into components, and then we're gonna go into image. Save this here, and now you can see we got this cool when we switch now to the page. And if you watch my previous videos with like React Router, it's such annoying to like pass in all the data. Here I can literally just paste it in, boom. And then the last one, let me just finish this one off, and I'll make this one pretty quick because like it's nothing fancy, but basically we just did on the destinations page. Yeah, we have h1 destinations, but I added a class name on here so you can see it just adds some styling. Destinations, and you can change this one to destinations here. And basically I want to go, actually I want to import layouts. Let me go here and say import. I'm just passing this into the layouts just for this example. You obviously would have to make your own CSS file if you wanted to actually make a custom like design. But here I'm just gonna go to Layout CSS and just add it at the bottom. Destinations, and I'm just gonna copy and paste this one in because it's just to like show you like a display. But basically, if you want to pause the screen and see it, this is what I have here. So I'll save it, and pretty much now you can see we got the destinations page. So pretty much now we got home, images, destinations, footer. All the images got a hover effect with the Gatsby image plugin. Scroll back, got a little thing here. They switching, home, and then destinations. And you can see there, so that's pretty much the site we designed for here. So if you did enjoy this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. I'm just documenting myself, learning code, building stuff, and showing you guys how I built that. So if you want to see more videos like that, then definitely subscribe to the channel, and also comment down below any feedback, suggestions. Feel free to refactor the code. Let me know any ways to make it better. Feel free to send me your GitHub links. I'll check them out. And aside from that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.